Good morning, John. Why is that not disappearing? Let's pull it down a bit. Right, I thought I would pop on today and just go through the Alice in Wonderland block from the Mad Quilt Party. I have decided that Sundays, as far as I can, are going to be Sew Along Day for the Mad Hatters Quilt Party, which is this pattern here by Art East Quilting. So I am using my stash fabrics to put this together, and I'm going to hopefully week by week put one block together. So the first block of the Sew Along is Alice. I have everything cut out. I've had to substitute a few fabrics. The background fabric I'm not using fairy dust because I didn't have enough of it in my stash. So I am choosing to use the pink kitty litter by Dear Stella instead for the background, because I thought, why not have a bright pink quilt? So everything else that I'm using is Tudor Pink from my stash. I've managed to cut almost everything that the cut-in layout for the pattern uses. I've had to substitute a couple, but they're very similar. So I thought I would start off by sewing Alice together, which is week one in the original Sew Along. So I am going to try and work out the best way of doing this. I may have to adjust the camera angle at some point, but who knows. So yeah, if you have any questions about it, it might as well be pink. Exactly, it goes with it anyway. So the Dear Stella that I'm using is this one, which I think looks pretty cool anyway. So I need to create the head unit first. So I'm going to work through the head unit and make sure that I've actually cut out enough of everything, which I think I have. I need that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. So all of the blocks in this need to be sewn together with a very, very accurate seam allowance. I'm just going to take this jumper off because I am absolutely melting. And I, as John, the creator of the pattern, likes to use, I do like to use my Acorn Easy Press seam pen for when I'm pressing my seams open. So I've got my little mini iron set up here, so I'm going to have to keep scooting backwards and forwards. I am going to remove this out of shot because that is a whole different video. And I've only just realised that it's sat there. So I'm going to start off by piecing the eyes together. Oh, from Ipswich, we have a UK viewer. Hello. That's not a million miles away. It's quite a long drive, though. So I'm going to start off by putting the eyes together. I'm hoping that my machine is going to behave itself today. I'm sure it will. She's normally pretty well behaved, this one. But I am going to use a leader and ender because I tend to have less problems with it if I do. So I'm going to chop this in half, one of my scraps, and use it as a leader and ender because it just makes it quicker and it wastes less thread. Now, what have I done with my snips? That's the question. Are they hiding in the side of here? There they are. Right, so I'm going to work the leaders and enders. Oh, you're in Lincolnshire. I've been to Lincolnshire a couple of times. I bought a car in Lincolnshire a few years ago. It wasn't the best car I've ever bought, but it was. It got me home. I don't think I'd ever buy that car again. It's Lincolnshire is actually where my parents were planning on moving, but they have now changed their mind completely, and they have bought a house on the seaside in Essex instead. So they will be moving there at some point very soon, once everything completes and all of the usual boring things come to life when it comes to moving home. Oh, hi, Nicola. Of course, for Lincolnshire. Wonky Warrior Designs, Diane, is in Scotland. That is one place I've never been. I know you're in Nova Scotia, John. We all know where John is. John's in the land of Canada, which I'd very much like to go to next year, possibly. I'm hoping that after QuiltCon next year, we might actually be able to fly to Canada and visit, which would be really cool. We're going to see how much we can cram into next year's venture after this one. We got quite a lot done in this holiday vacation that we've just done, and we'd like to make the most of all the journeys that we do. So next year, if we can fit Canada in as well, that would be pretty awesome. Turn up at Artie's Quilting and scare the life out of John and Matt. This is the wrong stitch length. Let's turn that down because it's such tiny pieces. I don't want my seams coming apart. Oh, you're in Milton Keynes. I think I'm in Milton Keynes this week for work. I won't be there for long because I never am, because it's always a fleeting visit wherever I go. Right, I'm going to press the seams with my Acorn pen, hoping that I've got some actual fluid in it, which I have, which is good. So I'm going to press those. Hi, Stephanie. Oh, Florida. What time is it in Florida now? It must be very, very early. And is it warm? And is it humid? That's the question. That was the thing that we found about Arizona, is that it was incredibly warm compared to the UK, but because it's so dry, you don't get all sticky and horrible, which is good. Right, so that is the eyeballs. So onto the eyeballs goes the forehead. Now, this skin colour fabric that I had is not my first choice, but it was the only one I had, and I also didn't want to... Why is this making a phone? It's because I've not got my jewel feed engaged. We was talking when we was in Arizona about is it crocodiles or is it alligators in Florida? I think it's crocodiles, isn't it? Or is it alligators? Gators. It's gators. Alligators. Yeah. We were talking about the fear of alligators if we was to visit Florida, but then where we were had the possibility of bobcats, snakes, rattlesnakes, lizards, all sorts. So I think the UK is probably one of the only countries in the world where there's not something that's trying to eat you if you go out in the wild, because luckily the deer and different things and different animals that we have here are more scared of us than we are of them. Michigan, a chilly 19 degrees. That'd be 19 degrees Fahrenheit, wouldn't it? That is pretty cold. Oh, I need the little rosy cheeks. The cheeks was one fabric that I did manage to have to match the pattern, which was good. Coyotes, yeah, see, they freak me out. We don't have those here. We have foxes, but foxes, even though they're pretty brazen, they don't. Oh, hi, Josh. Yes, I did have an amazing time in Arizona. It was probably the most awesome trip that we've ever done. And given the option, I would be back on a plane in about 20 minutes and be back out there again. I have got serious holiday blues this week. And I really didn't want to come back. The only thing that was good to come back to was obviously family and seeing the doggies. But if I could fly those out, then we would have probably stayed there permanently. I would definitely have liked to have stayed in Arizona in the heat because it has been miserable since we've been back. Within 30 seconds of walking out of the airport in London, it started raining, which was always fun. Right, so we've got the cheeks on. This is the thing I love about the artist quilting patterns is that they take a little while to cut out, but once they're all cut, it's just like putting a puzzle together. And it comes together quite quickly normally. 10 degrees Celsius here today. Almost summer. It is. It's very sunny actually today, which is a bonus. Although it doesn't by any stretch of the imagination make me want to venture outside of my sewing room outdoors, because it's one of those things. It lowers you into a full sense of security, because it may look sunny, but it's definitely not warm. I am sewing on the Juki UX8, which in the States is rebranded as I think it's the NX4000 Kokochi, but it's basically exactly the same machine. It's just got a different name. So my TL that's on the floor there is the TL2200 QVP, but in the US it's the TL18 QVP. I have no idea why they changed the names of them. It is beyond, I have no idea why they feel the need to do it. I don't understand why changing the name from a 2200 QVP to a TL18 or vice versa would change any reason why someone would buy one, but that's just what Juki do. This one is just a little bit more luxurious to use than the TL, and the TL is always set up for being on the quilt frame, which is why it's in that sort of harness thing that it's sat in. The carriage that it's sat in. I should use the right terminology, really. Yeah, so the TL sits down there most of the time, unless I'm quilting large pieces that I need to use a walking foot, because I can't use a walking foot on my industrial, and that one's quicker that one's faster than this one is, so just makes more sense. I think that actually has got the walking foot on it at the moment, because I was quilting some bag panels on it a little while ago. So we have a face. So now we need to do the hair, which is the hair I have cut from this lovely soft yellow hexie. I am going to mark my diagonal seam on here, because I do not trust myself to stitch in a perfectly straight line. And I find that if I mark the diagonal, I can stitch literally like a needle's width to the opposite side of it, which means that I get a really, really accurate half square triangle flipping stitch. And I'm also going against everything and using Orifil 40 weight instead of Orifil 50 weight because I prefer it. And that's just that, really. Right, so I'm going to snip off my seam allowance on my flip and stitch. So stitch and flip even. So I'm going to finger press that open very gently so that I don't distort it because it's on the bias. Although, to be fair, when you pre-treat all of your fabrics with Acorn, you don't really have any issues with the bias, which is good. Get a bit of extra Acorn on that bulky seam because it helps get it flatter. I do love my little Tula iron, I have to say, if you haven't got a mini Aliso, it is a game changer. Oh, while you're doing your nails, hi Danny. Have you got your mask on today? That's what I want to know. That's the question. Are you wearing your LED mask? I keep looking at those because Shark make one now, and this put the benefits of them is supposed to be brilliant, but I haven't yet ventured into it. Oh, so what you got on here? It's 8:15. Wow, that is early. Acorn is the best. It is indeed, John. I couldn't be anywhere without it now, and I love my big, giant, mega bottle, which is disappearing pretty quick. Not today. That's a shame, Danny. What quilting frames do you have, Adam? I have it's hidden behind the door of doom that covers up quite a lot of mess, but not that much mess at the moment. I've got a Little Gracie 2 frame, the wooden one from quite a while ago, but you can buy a metal version now, which is what I would personally opt for if you can find one. Mine is a 10-foot frame, so I can quilt. I've never really had an issue with a quilt being too big for it, and if it's a little bit wider than it is long, then I load it sideways, which means that I can still quilt a very wide quilt. I just load it the opposite direction. It's a clear day, 62 degrees Fahrenheit, humidity. What's that? Yeah, it's 86%. See, this is the thing. It's the humidity. This is the same problem as we get here. It's always quite humid in the summer, so it's so sticky. And then at night time, because obviously the UK has no idea what air conditioning is, so it's just as hot pretty much in the evening as it is during the day when it gets hot here in summer now. And our summers are getting really quite ridiculous, to be honest. Right, I think I've miscut one already. Story of my life. 1.5 T. Have I just miscut you? Let's have a look, shall we? What did I actually cut these as? Yeah, I've miscut them. Right, put those in the bin. This is why I keep all of my scraps, because guaranteed I'm going to miscut something. Let's move my giant Hobby Lobby Stanley Cup out of the way and find a ruler, which I can't find yet. Right. I knew I'd miscut something because I can't cut out a pattern without miscutting something. Just seems to be I'm incapable of cutting out everything first time correctly for some reason when it comes to John's patterns, and it doesn't help when you're trying to cut things out quickly. Right, so I can put these half square triangles on the bottom. So I'm just going to double check the direction of the print. Right, so that's going to be the wrong way because I want it going down. So what's on everyone else's sewing tables today? What plans have you got? Have you got any patterns underway? Are you making a bag? Are you making a garment? I've spent most of the week making garments ready for Devon Throcktails. I love my mini IM2. Thank you, Adam. I'll look into the frame. The frames are good. They come up on Marketplace every now and then. You can buy them used. The only thing is that you have to take into consideration that if you're buying one used, quite a lot of the time you have to change and swap out some of the fixtures and fittings because they don't seem to last forever, which is quite frustrating. I had to change quite a lot of the wing nuts, which is I thought was actually a made-up word, but clearly not, on mine because they had corroded over the years because they're not made from the strongest metal. So you will be able to find one on Marketplace very inexpensively, but you do have to take into consideration that you might have to spend a little bit, not a lot, on replacing different bolts and different things. But majority of the bolts and whatnot on there are of a standard size, and you can pick them up from any hardware place really, so it's never a big deal. And you can buy them in such big bags normally that you can always have spares if you ever need to replace anything else that fails on it, which is always helpful. So Alice has some hair. I think I might have to stitch her a nose. Might have to give her a nose. Oh, I've cut those around the wrong way, so I'm going to recut those because I want the fabric going in the correct direction. Right, so they want to go that way. Because I want it to look like her hair. So I'm going to cut it the opposite direction to how I cut it earlier. Which means that her hair will be up the right way rather than round the wrong way, which it would have been with the other pieces. One. Right, what's everyone always saying? I'm making a memory bear for my sister's mother-in-law. Also, summer garment making for holiday season. I have yet to make a memory bear. I've made a memory quilt, but I've never made a memory. I have made bears, but not memory bears. John is making the goat and the sheep. I need to find some more time in the day to crack on with my farm fresh quilt as well, because all I've still got is Piggy available, is Piggy finished, and I do want to get the rest of those done. Danny is working on 2 block of the months and has been EPPing on the sofa this week. Working on Tudor's City Sampler. That I started and got distracted, so I need to finish that at some point as well. Watching from Bermuda. Hi Diana, how is Bermuda? Somewhere I've never been. I have to sew up my husband's glasses case. It's a 5-minute sew, but I've had mental sewing block this week. So I find that in those situations, you're better off just sewing something really simple that you've sewn a million times, and it just gets you back in the swing of things. Or just cut some 2.5-inch squares and just make some little 2.5-inch 9-patch blocks. That always gets me going. and in the right frame of mind to sew, if you're a quilter, that is. Love the Alice in Wonderland quilt family memories. Yeah, I've been wanting to make this for a long time, and I thought about it this morning. I thought, you know what, just get on with it, otherwise it's never going to get made. And I couldn't work out whether I wanted to do Alice or the Wizard of Oz, but I'm a little Wizard of Oz out at the moment because of watching Wicked 18 times after buying it on Amazon. And every time I think about it, I get that song stuck in my head. And I drive my husband mad walking around the house singing it. In exactly the right key, I have to say, because I am pitch perfect. Well, so I believe. I don't think I am. I actually looked at my made the mistake of looking at my dash cam footage the other day of one of the clips of when I was actually driving, and of course I was singing my head off to something at the time, and I didn't sound as good as I thought I did when I hear myself sing, which was quite amusing and slightly worrying for anyone that pulls up next to me at a set of lights. Right, so Alice's face is done. We have some of her hair complete. I need to put her side hair on. No, I need to put the top bit of her head on first. See, this is why I have to make sure I read the instructions properly, because I skip ahead and get too carried away with myself, and then I end up missing vital points. It's 11:18 p.m. and it's currently 22 degrees on Sunday night here in sunny Queensland. Oh, wow. This quilt is starting to look great. Don't worry about cutting errors. It's a given for every quilt. I think it is. I think it is just part of the parcel, isn't it? I sometimes as well cut things like 1/4 of an inch too short. And then I think to myself, why does that not fit? And then I look at the pattern and realise that I've cut it too short. And that's why I've been sat there for 20 minutes trying to work out why it doesn't fit together properly. So I was going to do a Friday sews this week, but that never happened because I got so engrossed in what I was actually sewing that I soon realised that it was time to cook dinner, and I'd completely missed the boat on Friday sews this week. I was too busy working on my outfit for Frocktails in a couple of weeks, which I'm very much looking forward to, and it's given me something to look forward to, considering I got back and didn't want to not be on holiday anymore. And then shortly after Frocktails, we've got the Stitch Festival, which will equally be fun. And I'm getting to see some people that I haven't seen in probably the best part of a year at Stitch Festival, which I'm really looking forward to. Right, that's Alice's face so far. So I'm going to put her head to one side, give her a good press so that she lays nice and flat. I'm going to stick a couple of clappers on her face to flatten her out. And we're going to work on her chest unit, which I have hopefully managed to fussy cut this perfectly. So the heart on the playing card that she holds, I have cut out some of the background heart fabric from the Queen of Hearts. So her heart that she's holding on the card will have hearts on it. And these are the teeny weeny little pieces that I've been anxiously looking forward to sewing. It's amazing how much difference 1/4 of an inch makes on something so small. And yet on a bigger block, it wouldn't cause any bother. So I need to make sure I'm being nice and accurate on the half square triangles. So we'll get those out. I did think then for one moment that I'd left my iron down because that one doesn't pop up, the mini. But fear not. Right, so these seams on this block are so small, I'm actually going to take them down to a 1/8 seam allowance. So that I'm reducing some of the bulk. I'm going to press those open. Because these are teeny weeny little pieces. I'm definitely going to get some seam pressing lotion and potion on those. Give those a press. And yeah, I've done exactly what I thought I would do, and I've stitched and flipped the same corner instead of the opposite corners, which is always handy. Well done me. So I'm going to have to recut that one. If I only had a brain. Right, let's go back. Good job I kept all of my scrap fabrics available. Let's put that in the bin. So I need some white. There we go. Let's see if I can make sure that I don't get this wrong again. So that one needs to go on that corner. We get it right eventually. Hi, Pat. If I only had a break, yeah, I think I have mixed up my stories. I think I'm thinking of Wizard of Oz again. I do sometimes feel like that though, where it's just full of straw, especially when I do the same thing wrong twice. Right, so I've got my half square triangles on. I've pressed those. Now I need to join those two together, matching up the points. Which is nice. Let's chop that off. That's good enough for me. I am not going to cry about something being off by about 1 millimeter. It's just not worth getting stressed about. It's not going to go into a show. Someone is not going to scrutinize it. So I'm quite happy with that. Oh, so I could have kept it the way it was. What a donut. I could have just spun it round. Oh well, here's what it is. Right, let's get this other one on. La, 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 la. So we are, oh no, I want that one, this one. Take that corner off. Check that my many buzzes on my phone are nothing important, which they're not. They can wait. I'm wondering if you can hear that in the background. That is one of our neighbours that has got the loudest motorbike known to man. And he likes to sit outside revving it at all hours of the day, which is always fun. You thought it was a train. It does sound that loud. Oh, hi, Amelia. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for watching. If no one watched them, then I wouldn't have a channel. So I'm always very grateful for anyone that takes the time to watch any of my my vlogs, where I just stand there babbling on about nonsense most of the time. Right, that is that. And then we need to do the half square triangles on the bottom edge of the heart. This is the cutest thing I think I've ever seen. The only thing with this white on white fabric is the neon pigment ink. Well, it's not neon. The pigment ink that they use for the white is ever so sticky when you're trying to shuffle a piece of fabric across, because it's got that rubberized latexy feel. It's a bit like sewing up vinyl. It sticks to itself and sticks to everything that it touches, which can be quite frustrating at times. Right, so I'm going to press that. Put a decent helping of Acon on there and press that seam open. And do the other one. This is the cutest thing ever, this heart that goes in the playing card that Alice is holding. So for anyone that hasn't made an artist quilting pattern and is scared of the size of any of the pieces, there's nothing to be afraid of, even though some of the pieces are quite small. I think the pieces in this particular part that I'm making now is the smallest cut out of any of the pieces. There's nothing to worry about. As long as you're accurate with your seam allowance, you line everything up, it's no different to sewing a big block. In fact, I actually think it's easier than sewing a big block because you've got less chance of fabric distorting on a smaller piece than you have on a larger piece. So there is the little heart in Alice's card, in Alice's playing card. So I'm going to pop the rest of the pieces on around that now. So she has 2 of these pieces that go on the side of it. I made sure I had a nice new sharp needle in before I started the project. So that one, I think because of the bulk in the seam, I think I'm going to press away. I don't think I'm going to press that one open. John's probably thinking, no, press them open. But that one is going to sit better away, I think. So I'm going to ignore his advice, his very valuable advice, and probably make a huge mistake and press it the way that I have, which is probably wrong. But sometimes I get this idea in my head that it's easier to press away from the bulk than it is to try and press the bulk open. So we shall see. And a good laugh. Oh, I'm pleased. If I can make one person laugh with one of my slightly bonkers vlogs, then that is a win in my eyes. Did I actually need to cut 2 of those? No. That would make sense as to why I've got one too many. Although that one's the wrong size, I think. No, it's not. I need to trim the unit down. As per usual, I'm trying to jump ahead and not get it right. Let's trim off that bit. Well, that's handy. Trim it in between the 2 mats. It's all going to work well, isn't it? Now what have I done? I've trimmed too much off one side. Here we go. Let's start again. Right, where's that bit I threw away? Let's press that open again. And then we need to trim the block down with the heart in the center. So that the heart is centralized. So I'm going to take off there, spin it around, and take off that there. Scrap that bottom bit. By 1 point. Let's double check I've got that right. Yeah, nice. Throw these little scrappy bits away. And this bit goes on the top. Not on the bottom, on the top, Adam. Just do as you're told for once. Yeah, Alice does have the smallest pieces. I enjoyed your quilt con video. I was excited to see you went to Goldfield and Tortilla Flats. I've been to both several times when I'm going to visit my mum years ago. Yeah, so the Goldfield Gold Mine was absolutely brilliant. I'm kind of a bit annoyed that we didn't think about going on the other sort of paid for parts of the gold mine. So we did the gold mine tour, which was absolutely brilliant. But they have like a ghost. They have a ghost tour that they do in the evening. But because we wanted to get over to the Tortilla Flats and the lake on the way up, we weren't going to get back in time to do the ghost tour. Well, we would have had to hung around for quite a few hours before the ghost tour that evening, so we didn't do it. But I think if we go back, which we probably will go back to Arizona, I think we will do the ghost tour the next time round, because it does the tour guide that we had for the gold mine tour is the same tour guide that does the ghost tour, and he was brilliant. So I'd quite like to go back and do that. I think it would be really interesting. The tortilla flats was great. Funnily enough, the lady that showed us where to park when we got to tortilla flats literally looked like Chula Pink's twin. It was quite freaky. Initially, when we pulled up towards her, I actually thought it was her for 1 second. And then I was like, no, that can't be right. It's the completely wrong state in America for it to be her. But she looked identical to her. I wish I kind of got a photo of her now, but it would have been a bit weird just hanging out of the truck window taking a photo of the woman that was trying to do a job. I could never remember the name of tortilla flats, so I always called them Taco Bell. Oh, hi Salazar, how are you? I set up the live only a couple of hours ago, so it might not have sent a notification out. I'm hoping that you would have got your Renaissance patch by now. I'm pretty sure I sent one out to you. I'm hoping that it's arrived. Ah, perfect. You did get it. They're such a beautiful patch, those. I got myself a second one because I had one already, but I was very, very lucky that the one that I had was the one that was gifted to me by Chula for my birthday. And it's signed, so I didn't want to use the one that was signed. I wanted to keep that one as a special one. I've cut. Does that need trimming as well? Yes. Stitch the V pieces either side of the card unit. Yep. Keeping the heart at the center of the unit, trim down. Ah, perfect. Right, so. Two. Oh, I need a different ruler. That one's not going to work. What have I done with the other one? What did I do with the ruler? There it is. So I need to trim this one down, but I need to centralise the heart at the same time. So 1, 2. Da, 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 da. Ah, right. Okay. So that's 2. Yep. Trim. Trim. Oh, he started up that motorbike again. I think he's trying to wind me up today. If it's not that motorbike, it's someone kicking a football at the front door. So we live right next to a huge park with a football pitch. But they seem to prefer playing football right outside the house. Because why wouldn't you? No, you can't use it. You can't use the tudor pink one. Exactly. I totally agree. I couldn't use it. It's that fear of running out. Forget about FOMO, fear of missing out. It's about fear of running out. FORO, I think, is a new thing. Fear of running out of things. I think that's what we all do with our fabric. Is get FORO, fear of running out of something, which is why we don't use it. We just sit and stare at it and make sure that it looks pretty. Right, so that can go on to H. So we can get that on there, because then I can press this block and get it under the clapper. So I don't know whether John puts this in his patterns or not, but I do recommend that if you are doing an artist pattern, to minimise your stitch length. My retired neighbour spends all day Sunday trimming his grass. Oh, don't even get me started on grass mowing. The minute the sun comes out, everyone's out there mowing their lawns. And they all seem to do it at times of day when you want to be in the garden. So like lunchtime, dinner time, when there's the slight possibility you might be able to actually sit outside and eat outside. And then someone will switch their lawnmower on. It's quite a common one. I can never quite understand that. The best one is when people start to they start all burning all of their garden waste. Normally at around 4:30. We tend to get that quite a lot where I live. 4:30 on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, everyone lights a fire and starts burning all their garden waste. So when you want to sit out in the garden and have a barbecue or anything like that, you get smoked out by everyone else, which is always helpful. Right, let's give that a good press and stick it under the clapper. That one. So I need Q and I need A. Right, so Q at the top, A at the bottom. Oh, pressure washers, that's the other one. Leaf blower addicts. So we have a maintenance company that come and maintain all of the communal areas around the houses. So all of the grass areas and all the hedges and all of that is done by a maintenance company. And they normally on a Thursday is my pattern writing day. So I will normally get up nice and early on a Thursday. I will get my laptop or my iMac switched on. And I settle myself down to write some patterns on a Thursday and do admin. And guaranteed, as soon as I start typing anything, the leaf blower people come. Which is always fun. And the thing is as well is they don't even blow the leaves into anything. They normally blow them all into our garage. Which then means that I have to bag them and dispose of them. Right, so Alice has an arm. So now I need to put her arm unit with her hand unit onto her head unit onto her hair unit. This is where it gets fun because it starts coming together very quickly. So I need to put her arm onto her hand, onto her arm, onto her hand, onto her dress. That, and that. And I think I've miscut that. Why wouldn't I have? That needs to be... Am I missing something here? Should I have trimmed that down? H. Yeah, that needs trimming. So put W on there, and you trim W down. Trim the unit in height. So I've lost a seam allowance there, so I need to add that. Haha! Now it'll fit. Yeah, see? If you read the instructions properly, it all makes sense. It's handy when you do what you're told, isn't it? See? Fits on there when you trim it down to the correct size. I had the tiniest scrap of this wildflower blue left over, and I was super excited to find it in my huge scrap bin because I thought that I would have nothing for Alice's dress. But I did. And I had some spare, so if I need any more of it in the quilt, I have got some. Or if I need to recut any pieces, because I do like to cut everything wrong quite frequently. See, he stops outside our house to make more noise before he drives off. I have no idea. I just don't get it. I'm sure he does it on purpose. It's most bizarre. It's comforting to hear others mess up cutting. I get so annoyed with myself. Do you know what I think it is? I think we all try to get ahead of ourselves, don't we? And cut as much out as quickly as possible just so we can get to the actual fun bit of putting it all together. Because I will not be the first to admit that cutting it is my worst thing. Lettuce tires. I wouldn't even know where he keeps that bike. We've lived here for probably about 8 months now, and I still haven't yet actually gone further than our house down the rest of the road because there's nothing down there other than about 10 more houses. So there's just no real reason to actually go down there. I don't think I'd ever put a quilt together again now without an acorn pen. The difference it makes is incredible. The seams remain so flat. If you look how flat you get the seams on there, she's coming together very nicely. And I've stitched her arm on upside down. Look at that. So we'll have to take that one off, Dobby. What have you come up here for? No, no, get off Alice's face. Get down. Get down. Good boy. Where is my seam ripper? That's the question, eh, Dobby? Because I seem to have lost it. Right, this isn't working. Let's find a seam ripper, shall we? Aha. I had to Google strimming. I know I'm upside down. Stupid me. I don't think I can actually put together a quilt without doing something wrong. And even when I check it, it's not until I've actually quilted the whole entire thing that I notice that there's a massive boo-boo somewhere in it. I mean, at the moment, it just looks like she's doing this, which could be cute. Right, let's press that one down. And that one. And let's put her hand on the right way up. Right, let's put that there, that there. So it needs to go that way. So we'll put it like that. We watched a great film this week all about NASA, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was called now. It had the lady out of I can't remember what film she was in now, but it was about the black ladies in America that had helped to create the math equations behind the first successful space launch, and it was absolutely brilliant. So if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. I can't for the life of me remember what it was called, but if I remember, I'll put it in the description box. Absolutely brilliant film. Highly recommend it. See, there we go. I need this one. No, I don't. Need to put a hair on first. See, jumping ahead. Jumping ahead. Always jumping ahead. Right. Let's keep Alice's hair on. She's quite a big girl, Alice. I'm not going to lie. I thought she'd be smaller than this. It's always fun when they work out a bit bigger than you think. Right, so let's corner off her hair. Octavia Spencer, that's it. Hidden Figures. Thank you very much, Pat. And Annie, it is a very, very good film. Hidden Figures is such a good film. I don't know why we haven't seen it before. Weed eater, weed wagger. Funny. That's the worst about shortening seam lengths. Hidden Figures, yeah, absolutely brilliant. I might actually watch it again soon, because I tend to find that if you watch something twice, you find little hidden Easter eggs in films that you don't see the first time around because you're trying to focus on the storyline. But yeah, very, very, very good film. The other one that we watched recently, which again is quite an old film, but we hadn't seen it, was Temple Grandin. That's a very good film. And we hadn't seen that before. But yeah, highly recommend that. That is a very good film as well. Snip, snip, snip. The one about the Black Ladies Regiment during World War II. Yes, do you know, that was actually recommended to us on Netflix after we watched Hidden Figures. And it's on our watch list to watch next. So we might watch that this evening. But yeah, we seem to watch a lot of films. We seem to watch a lot of films now. Right, Alice, I'm going to spray your face. Please don't drown. To give you a little acorn press to flatten you all out. Let's spray your face. Mash your hair down with a clapper. Flatten that out. And put one on there as well. Right, so Alice can sit there for a moment. We're going to work on her other arm doing this. So I need to make a half square triangle with one of these and this one. And I'm going to draw a line on it. I don't know why I felt the need to flip a solid over, because the solid is the same on both sides. Is my ruler gone? So I'm going to make a half square triangle. Alice is getting a very unusual spa treatment indeed. You might also like the 6888. Oh, is that what it? Yes, that is what it's called. We've got it. That's the one we've got saved in our watch list. So I might get onto that. I might get onto that this evening. We also watched a series, a 3-part series called Toxic Town, which is about a town in the UK that was that had children with birth defects due to pollution. That was very good. It's stopping us from rewatching Schitt's Creek for the 10th time, watching all these films. Yes, it is based around steelworks. Very, very good, that, but also very worrying that it's actually a true story. I'd never heard of it when it actually happened. I was quite young when that happened, so I probably just went straight over the top of my head at the time. I've missed out another step. What is wrong with me today? Right, hold on. Oh, I can just unpick a partial seam in this one. This is really lazy. But I need to put a half square triangle in that corner. So if I just unpick it halfway, I can flip that bit out of the way, put my half square triangle on, and then put it back together again. It's very lazy, very, very lazy, but it does work because I've done it a few times. Thanks, Christine. It is brilliant, that film. I'm not going to lie, I did cry quite a bit through that. I don't know I have no idea what's happened to me. The older I get, the more I seem to cry about everything when I'm watching films now. Right, snip, snip. I would definitely recommend doing as the pattern says and not doing as I do. That's going to have to come off because it's still the wrong way around. So I've now got to unpick the seam twice. Hi, Stephen. Are you preparing? Oh, I wouldn't assume you are preparing yet because you're probably miles behind us in terms of time for preparing your life this evening with water. You've recently purchased the Christopher Robin quilt. Oh, the one behind me. That is one of the funnest quilts to make. I am very tempted to make another one at some point, but not just yet. But I think I will make another one at some point. Right. That's the correct way. Right. Orientation is key here. So that's the right way round. So I need another one of those to go on the top before I put J back on. I tell you, it's written in English. How hard can it be just to read the right thing? The Barnstar sampler. Oh, that doesn't sound fun. Lots of half square triangles by the sounds of it. That's the half square triangle thing. Unless it's a stitch and flip, I just don't really enjoy doing them, to be honest. But the quilt that my husband made, the exploding heart quilt that he made for my sister for her birthday, the whole entire quilt was made up of half square triangles and was put together in a grid formation. And I honestly couldn't think of anything worse. I will never, ever make that quilt. And yet he done it so well. Every single point in the quilt didn't get he didn't miss any of the points when he put it together. How he done it, I don't know, because that was the 4th quilt he's ever made, and it was incredible. Right, that's the right way around now, I think. Yes, it is. Look at that. I can get something right. Right, let's put that on there. Right, I need this one. This one. I'm going to cut that thread for once. Let's chuck that on there and give that a press so that's a flat. Oh, lots of little pieces. I don't mind the little pieces. I'm just not keen on half square triangles, especially when you have to join multiple half square triangles together. Because then you're just joining bias to bias over and over again, and it just seems to be... I always get worried about distortion. Would be the furthest one away that I need. Oh, hi, Becky. I've got another project in the works with half square triangles, shredding it. Bias drives me bonkers. It does. It drives me mad too. I just think it's one of those things, isn't it, that we intentionally choose to do when we could just make something that doesn't involve bias. And then we wouldn't have the brain ache of bias. Right, Alice has an arm and hand, another hand. And I'm hoping that it looks the same as the picture. Right, that's her head and her arm. So now I need to make her sleeve. So I need F. One of AA. I need a B and an A for the top and A for the bottom. I do have a bias against bias. So B needs to go in the top hand corner. A needs to go in the bottom. It's funny, I was talking to a friend of mine this morning about bias because she's just made a bias cut dress. And it's been driving her bonkers because she keeps getting wobbly seams, which it shouldn't really be doing. So we've been discussing in our little group chat this morning about ways around wobbly seams on bias, and we've come to the conclusion that it may be worth using some bias seam tape to try and combat it. Right. Press my stitch and flips. That needs to go on to F. And I need a G. For the bottom. Did you see the lady with the sloth quilt coat at QuiltCon? That rings a bell. Yeah, EPP is so stable because of the papers in there. The sloth coat, I think I must have done because it rings a bell. There were, to be honest though, there was a huge amount of quilted clothing at QuiltCon. There was I can't remember what the lovely girl's name is now, that had made a dress for her and her mum in quilted fabric. And they were absolutely incredible. The fit on it and the structure that the quilting gave the garments they were wearing was unreal. But yeah, everywhere you looked, someone had something on that was quilted. Right, so let's put Alice's sleeve on her hand. I think I was also a terrible tourist because I went to QuiltCon and I didn't actually look around the quilts. I got so distracted by talking to people and all of the different amazing stands that they had there. I only walked around probably about 10% of the quilts. And then we had to run off because we were meeting friends for dinner. So I didn't actually see hardly any of the quilts. But I have looked at a lot of them on Instagram and different things since I've been home, and they were stunning. But I do feel quite bad that I didn't actually see them in real life. Right, her other arm. This one. Sleeve. Need an A and a B. B in the corner. A in the opposite corner. Bias seam tape. Yeah, so bias seam tape you iron onto the butt of the seam basically to stabilize the seam before you sew it. I've never used it. I have used very, very thin strips of iron-on interfacing in seams before to stabilize them, like shoulder seams of t-shirts to stop the t-shirt shoulder seam distorting. Donovan, did you see? Oh, it's an FPP pattern. Oh, fantastic. There is a website that you can download hundreds of FPP patterns, all free of charge. And they even have Star Wars ones, all sorts. If I can find it, I will try and remember to put it in the description box after the video. But there's Harry Potter FPP patterns. There's Star Wars, as I said. I think there's Hocus Pocus FPP patterns. It's such a fun website. And if you're into FPP, it's the perfect place to get FPP patterns. someone's having a sofa delivered. I thought that might have been my better half coming home from work, but it's not. It's a sofa delivery truck. And then I need a B. Just stitch on up there. What is FPP? So FPP it's a shortened term for foundation paper piecing, which is where you basically stitch your quilt block onto paper. And it is a really, really good way of being able to create quilt blocks with tiny, tiny pieces that you wouldn't be able to make by just conventionally piecing them. Foundation paper piecing, when the pattern is printed onto the paper and you sew through the paper, exactly that. Currently minus 22, 7 degrees Fahrenheit. I need to get out later, but I'd rather stay cuddled in front of my fire. Please make this a long life so I can justify postponing going outside. Well, it depends how long it takes me to start this block. That's how long it'll be, because I do need to grab some lunch at some point because I'm starting to get quite hungry today. I think that is the one thing about jet lag that I was most surprised about, is the fact that my sleep pattern didn't really get too messed up from the 7-hour time difference. The thing I found most interesting was I was getting hungry at different times of day, which is, it's still a bit, I'm a bit thrown at the moment as to, I keep getting hungry in the middle of the night because for the best part of a week we were eating in the middle of the night basically. So that's been a bit of a weird one. Blasted zipper on a denim jacket that I'm making, super wobbly. Ah, Josh, you need to use 1/4 inch quilter's tape on your zip. Glue it in place before you stitch it. It's the best way of doing it, especially if you're making a sweatshirt out of stretch fabric that you're putting a zip in the front of. Like if you're making a zip up hoodie or a zip up sweater, if you use quilter's tape, I mean, it'll feel a bit weird until you wash it because obviously you need to wait for it to dissolve. But quilter's tape for everything. If not, use your EPP glue stick along the zipper, stick it into place, press it so it sets the glue, and then stitch. Makes life so much easier. What am I matching up on here? Her arm. Need to make sure her arm matches. Yeah, I glue anything that needs to be stabilised that I can't use pins for, or I can get away with not using pins. I use washable glue or 1/4 inch wash away double-sided tape. It makes life so much easier. Glue is a game changer. I love using glue when I can. It makes life so much easier. Right, let's press this seam open and then I'm going to bombard it with my pressing pen and press it again. So Alice has one arm, and soon she'll have a second. And if I've missed something out, John, I don't need to know. Because inevitably I've got something wrong. I always get something wrong. It wouldn't be my quilt if there wasn't something wrong with it. I mean, I know how to put a quilt together, but I clearly don't know how to read instructions. Right. She has 2 arms. She has 2 arms. Right, let's give her a good press. Stick some clappers on her arms. I always feel quite guilty ironing her once she's got a face. Right. Note that in the first step, you can choose to create a template or create the diagram on the wrong side of your fabric using a marking tool that will not be visible from the front. Use a friction fine liner marker, or I could use one of the heat erasable lovely pens from Artist. I need to wipe this one because it keeps getting a bit. I need to remember to not store this up that way. Because I keep getting blue ink everywhere. Da, 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 da. Right, that's that. Right, so I need to measure you can choose to create a template or create the diagram on the wrong side of your fabric. So it needs to be draw a trapezoid with an blah 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 base and a blah 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 top and a height of right, okay, I'm going to do this with right, hold on. Let's move all of my pieces further away from when I'm sewing, which will be helpful in about 5 minutes. So I need my BB piece there. So I need to trim that down. Where's my long ruler gone? So I need to trim that down to that width. So that is take that off. Then I need to measure in. So I need to trim that to trim the length down. Lovely. And then the top needs to be right. Okay, I'm going to fold this in half. And then I'm going to measure 3.5. Mark there. And then the same on the other side. 3.5 mark there. And then that means, ha 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 ha, I can mark from that point to the corner and take that off. John's probably watching this thinking, well, that was the most dysfunctional way you could have done that, Adam. And take that off. And that gives me my trapezoid. And then my L pieces, which are background fabric, these two triangles should be mirrored, one facing left, one facing right. So they need to be... Right, let's put her dress here a minute. What are these pieces? L. Right, let's put these face to face. So they need to be... Let's not get that stuck under there. So that is... All right. Yeah. Why did I cut those so big? Keep those to one side a minute because I've probably got this wrong. 1,000,001 rulers out of the way. So technically, that one should go on there and extend a little bit each way, and that one should go on there and extend slightly each way. If this comes together right, and I've got it right the first time, it'll be a miracle. Alice looks fabulous. She does, doesn't she? She's very cute. Maybe he does write with a Canadian accent. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that is the problem. I blame the accent. I'm just kidding. Right. So is that actually extending past slightly? Yes, it is. Right. So let's move that up. I think I've got this right, but I normally think I've got it right and I've got it horribly wrong. So we shall see, shall we? It is all that soup. I completely forgot to mention that in my vlog from when I came back from Arizona. What is with the incredible amount of soup in Target and Walmart? And it's insane, the amount of soup. I mean, of all the things to take away from our trip was I couldn't get over how much soup there was in one store. It's unreal. There's literally like a whole half-a-mile shelving unit full of soup. I've never seen so much soup in all my life. I don't think I've ever said the word soup so many times in my life. It's obscene. I've never seen so much soup in my life. There you go. What can you do? It's a lot of soup. Yeah, I've cut this wrong. Hang on a minute. How have I cut this wrong? Right. Where is her body? This I cannot get my head around this bit. So I've cut the triangles too small. Right, off they come. So how wide is that at the top there? Right, let's try this again. Right, I'm not going to trim those down. I'm just going to stick those ones on it and see if that works, because I've definitely got that wrong. I am sewing the Mad Quilt Party, the first block, which is Alice, which is an Artie's Quilting Company pattern. I will show you a picture of the block in a second, once I've unpicked yet again. How are you doing, Leslie? Are you in your sewing trailer today? I wonder. It is like a signature, but I seem to have a signature on every quilt I make at the moment. Although actually saying that, the Haunted Cabin quilt that I made, I didn't make any mistakes. So maybe it's just me on this one. I haven't put a quilt together for a while, so I'm using that as my excuse. Oh, you plan to pop out there later? It must be lovely having somewhere that you can just escape off to outside of the like the main house. I think I'd quite like that. The only thing is, though, I don't know if I'd ever come back. I think I'd probably still be out there at about 11 o'clock at night, and then I'd realise that I've spent all day out there and not seen or interacted with anyone, which would be my worry. I'm just drinking my coffee, 6:47 a.m. in California. Wow, that's early, especially on a Sunday. Although, to be fair, I think I was up at about 6:30 today. I find that if I don't get up early, I don't get anything done. And then I feel like I've wasted the day. Oh, that's nice. It brings you food. Food's always good. Food is always well received as well. The problem is, though, when you're sewing, you forget to eat. Hi, Giovanna. Right. That's unpicked. Let's get rid of those little beasts. Little beasties. Right, I'm going to put the bigger pieces on. And I've put them on the wrong way up. Right, let's unpick this and then I'm going to pay attention to what I'm actually doing. Right, so it needs to be up that way. That needs to be there. And that one needs to be there. Ha, there we go. Right, let's try again. Third time lucky. Early as a habit from raising 12 children. That is astonishing how 12 children. I admire anyone that raises children. I have a hard enough time raising 2 dogs. I don't think I could raise children as well. My fear would be that I would always be scared that they were going to hurt themselves, I think. I'd always be more worried about them. I mean, I worry enough about my 2 Bostons. I don't think I could cope with having to worry about a human. Right, this should now be able to be trimmed down to the correct length, I'm hoping. Right, so it needs to be 12. Right, that's bang on. So if I spin that round, line that up there. Hurrah! 3rd time lucky. We have a skirt. And it's actually the right size now. Right. What do I need? Her waistband. Where is her waistband? So this was one of the other fabrics that I had to substitute because her waistband should be made from tiny stripes, but I didn't have any. So I did have some of the little tiny Curiouser and Curiouser fabric. So I'm using that for her waistband instead. So these are nice, simple, easy seams. Nice straight seams. Can't go wrong. Famous last words. I was a warrior like it is too. Now my granddaughter, helicopter mum. Yeah, see, I just don't think I'd be able to. Throw a blessing. My youngest is 18 now. You never stop worrying. See, that's the thing. I think I would just worry all the time. It's bad enough when we go out with my nephews. When we went away with them earlier this year for my mum's birthday. Earlier last year for my mum's birthday. They're on the beach and doing things and getting mixed up in things and different things. And I constantly was watching them thinking, oh, I hope they don't fall. I hope they don't hurt themselves. I hope they don't do this. And I am a bit of a worrier. All right, so that's her waistband. Then she needs these corners rounded off with half square triangles. to round her skirt off more. Hi, Monique. British Columbia, Canada. Oh, obviously, it's a 19. The silhouette we're after. What I'm wondering is whether John's Dachshunds have given him canine paralysis and are holding him hostage this morning. Because I bet they are. I have to keep dragging Luna out of bed in the morning because she comes downstairs, has her breakfast, and then decides that that's enough for the day and goes back to sleep again. Matt is held hostage today by the dogs. Okay, that's fine. So you can have a day off today then, John, from being held hostage by those little Dachshunds. She probably is. I don't think Luna's in a very good mood with me today anyway, because I haven't seen her most of the day. She's around somewhere. But she's I think she's got something against me today because I'm not paying her enough attention. That's probably it. I'm going to flip this over. Just give this a light mist. Give it a press. Just to stabilise the block a bit. Right, so that is now going on to, I need to put M on the side. leave that there and move on to her feet. So I need this one, so those are, so let's get her feet units done. So I need a H to go on the corner there, and one to go on the corner there. Then I need to do an E, both E's to F's, and N in the middle, and then I need both G's with a B on the top of each opposite side, and an A in each corner, which I don't have enough of because I didn't cut in as many as I should have done. What are they? Don't know where they've come from. We'll keep those to one side because I might need those. I probably will need those. Where's my little baby ruler? How did I not cut enough of those out? I'm sure I did. I think I've lost something somewhere. Playing tricks on me. Right. Let's do these. What did I enjoy most about our trip to the USA? Do you know what? I have to say, the easy answer to that would probably be is how friendly everyone was. We were made to feel so welcome everywhere we went, whether it was someone that was serving us a meal or whether it was someone that we met at QuiltCon or the people that owned the place that we stayed in. Every single person we met was so friendly and so welcoming. A lot of people thought that we were Australian for some bizarre reason. But yeah, everyone was super friendly. Everyone was so polite. We just had such good service everywhere we went. The driverless taxis were quite amusing. They were quite fun. I have 2 Chihuahua mixes and they are more than enough kids for me. So we lost our last dog about a year ago, Kyla. And she was a Chihuahua cross Jack Russell. But her mum was a miniature teacup and her dad was half teacup and half miniature Jack Russell. So she was only 2.5 kilos, looked like a teacup Chihuahua, but with the tricolour markings of a Jack Russell, and was such a affectionate dog. She always wanted to be on your lap, always wanted to have a cuddle. No, I'm apparently, I'm sad to say I'm not actually, Josh. I don't know why we kept getting asked that. His short accent sounds like Crocodile Dundee. It does, obviously. It was quite amusing. Right, so they're her little leggies, so they need to go either side of that. They need to go back where they belong here for a minute, so I don't lose them. This one here is that foot. So I need to do the other foot, which is there, and then put that one here for a minute. P will go there. No, I have a. I don't. Well, I wouldn't. So I've always lived in the outer areas of London. So as far as I'm aware, I have a Southern England accent, whatever that is classed as. But it was funny that people were asking about whether we were Australian or not, because my nan always used to get asked that, even when she was in the UK, she would get asked if she was from Australia, because there were certain words that she used to say that she used to almost say them with an Australian accent, and she'd never ever been to Australia. She never ever had any association with Australia. So why she sounded Australian with some of the words that she said, I'll never know. Waymo stole my wallet last time. Did you get it back, Josh? Because they're pretty good at being able to track the exact vehicle that you were in. One of the ones we got in, someone had there was like paint or something all inside it, and I can't quite work out. Have I done that? Oh, that way around. See, this is why I have to concentrate. Oh, so that goes onto there. Ah, I see. Right, that needs to go on there. That needs to go on there. Right, let's stitch these on before I get confused. Alice's boots are too cute. Getting hit by a parked car. That is funny. I have to say, the driverless cars were brilliant, but I would definitely not read the reviews on them if you're scared about getting in one, because there was a lot of them that were recalled for quite worrying things, which we only later found out about after we'd actually used them multiple times. But we never had a bad experience with one the whole time we were there, and we probably took about 8 or 9 journeys in the driverless taxis, and they were all brilliant, so can't complain. I was born in the Netherlands 62 years ago. When I go back and tell them where I'm from, they say I have a bit of a north and south Netherlands accents. Despite the incident, I enjoyed the Waymo. It was the safest I ever felt. But this is the thing. Those Waymos did feel really, really safe. And it's interesting what you were saying, Monique, about the Netherlands. We drove through the Netherlands when we drove to Germany about 17 years ago. They are some of the friendliest people. It's quite a hard language to understand as well, I have to say. Da, 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 da. Right, so Alice has little booties now. Just need to put those two together, that one on there and that one on there. Right, let's do this in order. I don't know how I managed to cut her socks too long. She does. She does like a sock. Back 2 times last year. Oh, we've just got it done quilts. That must have been incredible. Right, let's give Alice's feet a good press. Try not to burn her toes. Let's trim off her socks that I cut too long. Nice clean socks now. And that can't be it. I've got to just put her head on her body and her body on her feet. Interesting. Right. Come on, Alice. Let's put you together the wrong way. Let's not put your feet on your neck. Because that's the likelihood of what's going to happen today with the way that I'm going. Let's not put Alice's feet on her neck. Right, I've got 2 seams left, people. How many times do you think I can mess it up in these last 2 seams? Your cat sleeps in the washing machine. Do you torture yourself when you're so alone? I've got to know. Because it is my habit. I shout at myself if I get things wrong. But yeah, I'm one of these weird people that can only sew in silence. Normally, I can't listen to music. I can listen to music to a certain extent, but I can't listen to podcasts because I get too distracted. I normally end up doing something wrong if I listen to a podcast. Alice has a body. Now she just needs feet. Let's try and make sure we sew her feet on up the right way. Right. Let's press her feet open. I've got this gigantic ironing board. And all I keep doing is covering it and stuff. That means that I can't actually use it as an iron board. Missed. Let me unplug that before I forget. So we have, as per usual, leftover pieces, which I don't know why, but I've always got leftover pieces. Because I always end up cutting doubles of things that I shouldn't cut doubles of. So Alice is supposed to look like this picture here. And I think I done all right. I think she looks pretty similar. So I am very pleased with her. She is going to go and sit in a nice little container somewhere until the next block that I do, which is going to be, what have I done with the patterns? So block 2 of the Mad Hatter's Quilt Party is the White Rabbit. So he is going to be next on the agenda. So I will get him all prepped and cut out, and hopefully I will be able to join you next week on Sunday after my parents have left, and we will get the White Rabbit sewn up with his little pocket watch to join up with Alice here, wherever she is there. So yeah, the White Rabbit will be next. He's made from Fairy Flakes White on White, which I've got ample of in my fabric stash. I think of actually looking at him, I've got all of the fabrics to make him, just swapping out the background for the Dear Stella pink fabric. So yeah, super excited. I will get him cut out and I will be back with you next weekend for a second sewing afternoon, getting the White Rabbit sewn up. Just going to quickly check. Oh my god, Lotus, you must need food or something or drink. Your concentration back. Kind of mistakes. I think that's what it is. I think I need my lunch. We're in sync. I just pressed my last seam on my Liberty Goat. Well done, John. I am very much looking forward to seeing that. You'll have to send me a picture. I do the same while I'm sewing. I love my audiobooks. I love her in the dress. She's excellent. Adam the White Rabbit. Thank you. I will talk to you all very soon. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for joining me. I will aim to be on here again next Sunday to start the White Rabbit. If it isn't on Sunday, it may be on Saturday, but I will try and make sure that I book the live in earlier so that it is able to be accessed and people know when it is sooner. So I will thank you all for now. I will talk to you all very soon. Happy sewing. I hope you have a lovely day for those of you that are just starting your day, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.